Welcome to Tram. I'm Matt.
And I'm Caesar.
And today, before we get into this bottle, we just want to say, hey, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out. And thanks for checking out the video. If you're a return viewer, we appreciate you sticking around. Nonetheless, everybody hit that little bell. That way you know whenever we drop a brand new video. Caesar, what do we got on the bar today?
Today, we got something from your bar, my
That's
brother.
right. You was about to claim it. No, sir. Today, we've got Hibiki Japanese Harmony. Let's do it. So, Hibiki Japanese Harmony. You excited about this one?
I'm stoked about anything Japanese.
I'm very excited about this one. So, truth be told, this is actually my second bottle of this. So, I already know that I like it, and I know that you've had it because I put it in a blind against the, I believe it was the Deanston 18-year bourbon
yeah,
cask,
I do remember that.
because it reminded me so much of that. You can check that one out right up here. But before we get too far into it, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about the history of this bottle. So, Hibiki Japanese Harmony is a blended Japanese whiskey produced by Suntory, first released in 1989. This is a unique blend of up to 10 different whiskeys, such as Yamazaki, Hakushu, and Chita. Chita is a grain whiskey, and it's aged in 5 different types of oak cask, including Japanese Mizunara oak, and it's presented at 43% ABV. Fun thing about Hibiki is the 12 and the 17-year-old expressions have been discontinued, so Suntory has released its Hibiki Harmony as an affordable and approachable blend using the same key malt and grain whiskeys from the original Hibiki 17 and 21-year-old expressions.
Interesting.
Now, that does not mean that the whiskey in here is 17 or 21 years old. It just means it's using the same malt and the same grains. That said, though, this is a damn fine whiskey. If you have not had a chance to try it, you definitely should. Like I said, I mentioned this is from Suntory, and we have reviewed the Yamazaki 12. Fair to say we both really like that. You can check that one out up here. What are you expecting as we get into it? Expecting it because I know you haven't had this in a while.
Nope. And I remember a little bit about it, but I'm expecting a lot, especially from the Yamazaki being so good. I'm expecting a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, just full disclosure, this is my second bottle of this, so I already know that I like it. So the first bottle, I think I spent about 80 or 90 bucks on it. But the retail on this guy is about 65 or 70, which is what I basically paid for this one. Because I found it one day, my wife and I were at Costco, and I just happened to go over to the liquor area while she was still shopping for something else, and they had a couple rows of this, and I was like, I wasn't even halfway through my first bottle, and I'm like, yeah, that's coming home. It was like 60 bucks. I was like, yeah, that's coming home.
Nice.
So again, when you can find it at retail, this thing is a steal. But I would also be okay with paying up to $80 for it because I also know that it's pretty damn good whiskey. So let's get into it. What are you getting on the nose?
I mean, just like the last one, I actually get some floral notes out of it.
Yeah, it's super floral. And again, Suntory, I would say their flavor profile, their palate is very much like we're aiming towards Scotch drinkers, right? We're definitely trying to throw a softball over home plate for a lot of Scotch drinkers. Very Highland-esque in the flavor profile, but that's not a bad thing for me.
His pageantry in this bottle, though, is pretty nice. Really nice. Like,
yeah, I don't save a whole lot of bottles anymore.
Really
and
nice. This
is one that gets saved. And, spoilers for a future episode later this year, you're going to see this bottle show up again. That's called a tease.
With no Japanese in it when we come back.
I hate you. Yeah, like you said, floral notes, lemon zest, a little bit of a spice in there. I'll tell you that I wish I could get my hands on a Mizunara oak barrel just to smell the inside of it. Because there's something that changes in this Japanese whiskey with that Mizunara oak. But, I mean, do you have an extra $6,000 we can fork over the barrel? Because that's what it's going to cost us.
Hey, one of these days we will get there. Thanks to donations from y'all. And then we'll give you some too. Hey.
We're going to send him a plank of wood. I meant the barrel, not the whiskey in the barrel. That'd be fun. But the barrel, the wood is $6,000. That's some expensive wood.
Hey.
You have to put in the little cymbal chime there.
Yeah.
Easy on the palate.
Super easy. It's really good. Reminds me of a lot. I mean, it reminds me of all Japanese whiskey of how easy going it is. But at least at the forefront, there are different flavors from the last one. This I almost think tastes like a spiced apricot. Apricot, if I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I get some stone fruit out of that. I get some apricot in there. I get a lot less sherry than in the Yamazaki 12. Which is not bad. I'm getting more bourbon notes, those vanillas, the caramel, right? A little bit of pepper spice in there.
You know, it's funny. I'm getting a little bit more Irish notes too.
Really?
With this, yeah.
Like Irish, like flavors, or Irish, like texture?
Irish flavors, like the light zestiness.
Because where Irish to me is very buttery in its texture, this is still oily.
Oh yeah,
I still get the viscosity. I cannot speak today.
No, texture, I think it's oily, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I like about this? This was the first Japanese whiskey I ever actually got a chance to try. It was in a flight with some other stuff. It was kind of like a, whiskeys of the world type flight. So we had, an Islay Scotch, we had a bourbon, we had a Japanese whiskey, which was this one, and a couple other things. And this one, I was like, hey, it's fine. It kind of just tastes like flavored water. But going back to it now, being a little bit of a whiskey nerd, like, it's so much more than just, like, flavored water. There's a lot going on it. And again, like the Yamazaki, it rides this delicate line of just being complex, while at the same time, just stand on its own. And it's just really solid. And again, I think I mentioned it, 43% ABV. Nothing offensive jumping out of the glass in terms of like ethanol, or you often use like the Sharpies. Yeah. And I use the nail polish. Like, you're not getting that at all here. Maybe if you don't drink whiskey on the regular, it will. But for us, it's nothing there in terms of a proof point.
And if you do, it's going to get a lot worse, trust me.
Right? It's like, oh, hey, here's this 70%er. Don't get it on your skin.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing I'd like to point out is I think I remember from doing the blind with this and the Deanston 18, I actually thought this technically had more flavor than the Deanston. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's a Deanston. Because it actually provided more flavor when I was drinking it.
Yeah, it was interesting because I remember the first time that I cracked that bottle, I was like, I've had this. Like, it tastes like a scotch. Like, what scotch is this reminding me of? And I was just literally staring at my bar for like 10 minutes. And I was like, what is this? And I grabbed the Deanston and I poured it. I'm like, it's this. It's the Deanston 18. Like, there was still enough of a difference, but they were so similar in their flavor profile that I knew you really liked the 18. Yep. So the next time you came over, I was like, I literally had 2 glasses already poured. And I'm like, tell me which one you like better. And then once I told him what was in there, he's like, this is the, like, whatever glass it was, like, this is the Deanston. I'm like, nope, that's the blended Japanese whiskey. Yeah. So it was a fun little experiment. It's one of those things to where we always talk about doing a blind on camera, but then when we talk about it, we never actually do it. So let us know in the comments if you want to see us do a blind. Did you put water on it yet?
I did, but I haven't tried it yet, actually. So we'll see.
But about 3 drops, again, 40%. It's Japanese whiskey. It's probably going to hold it, in all honesty.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's not bad at all. 0, not even pepper, nothing. But it tastes way too much like water now. Like,
really?
Yeah, like the last one, the Yamazaki, with water, you still got some good flavor notes out of it. They just tasted a little bit rounded out. This, to me, with water, tastes like more water than it does.
Too polished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I would agree with you. Like, ironically enough, it becomes more fruit forward. Like, it's kind of like, almost like when you, like the end of a fruit cup, like the little bit of juice at the end, like it's kind of like watery syrup, you know what I mean? Like, you're not really getting real fruit out of that, but like you get the element of fruit. It's kind of the same thing. Like I get a very fruit forward note, and then it just kind of goes into water.
Yep.
So to me, I would definitely drink this one neat. Definitely not putting it in a cocktail. But I will say $60 again. Let's say retail
$60.
Again, this is what I got this bottle for. The first one I bought was $80. So I'm gonna go ahead and chuck it up and say $65 because that's what retail. That's what the suggested retail should be. You go. I don't know where I'm
All right, I'm gonna go because I have something on my mind. So what I'm about to say has absolutely nothing to do with my ranking. Absolutely nothing. So don't think this is consideration for what I'm gonna rank it. So what I'm thinking about is $60 for this high class stuff is actually really good. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to a college football game, but they don't sell alcohol in the stadium. You have to get drunk before getting to the stadium. So, which means you have to get really drunk so that drunkenness lasts the whole game, right? So what I'm thinking here is if that tastes like water, even though it's like pretty much all whiskey because I only put 3 drops of water, I could imagine this nice $60 bottle, putting it like in a water bottle or something, and then just putting like you know, a little bit of water, and then just downing the whole thing before going into the game, and then next thing you know, you're just lit because it tastes like water.
You can definitely chug this.
I'm pretty sure those of you at home will be like, well, if you put enough water into anything, won't it taste like water? Yeah, it does, but I'm not saying enough water. I'm saying a couple drops makes a big difference. So you could fill most of the water bottle up with real liquor rather than water, and then put a little bit of water.
Are you sciencing right now?
Yes,
I am. It sounds like you're sciencing.
I am. This is totally what goes on in my head, folks. And then, so if you guys want to get drunk before a college game, this is the way to go. $60, pitch in with you and the homies. Everyone just get a full cup. Just put a splash of water in each one. Down the whole thing, and it's incredibly smooth because you know you're not gonna be trying to cough it out or anything. And it's high quality whiskey to where you're gonna get lit like 30 minutes into the game, and you're like, this is what I'm here for. That's what I chugged that for. You're welcome ahead of time. Back to my review. I will give this a 3.5. It's actually really good, and it's really smooth. But why I'm dinging it less than the Yamasaki is because the Yamasaki, I think, had a lot more flavor into it. A lot more flavor. It was really good. It was just pretty much just as smooth, but I think it gave you more to it. So I'm gonna say this is a 3.5.
Before I give my review, I would just like to say we at the SoCal Dram Tram, including Matt, do not endorse the views of drinking an entire bottle of alcohol before going to a college football game. It just sounds like bad things would happen. But nonetheless, barring the college scenario out, I would say I'm inclined to agree with you. This is a 3.5. I would put this on par with the Yamazaki because, again, very delicate balance. It rides the line. I thought about maybe going with a solid 3 because the water didn't quite hold it as nicely, but that price point. The price point is kind of what hyped it up a little bit for me. And, you know, when I took that last sip, needing another minute to really think about it, it's a 3.5 whiskey for sure. Definitely don't go pay like $150 for this bottle. Like, it's not so scarce that you can't find it. Whether online, sometimes Total Wine stocks it. Like, yes, it's allocated, but you can do a little bit of homework and you can find the bottle. That's basically what I'm saying. Don't go spend an exuberant amount of money on it. I think 60, 65 bucks, even 70 or 80 if you can't find it anywhere and you happen to find it like I did the first go round, I think you're going to be happy with it. I think it's a 3.5 whiskey all day, every day. Nonetheless, what do you think about it? Have you had the Harmony? I'm sure you have. Have you had the 12 or have you had the 17? Because the 17 in our area is going for about $900, which means we're not buying it.
Have you had eHarmony? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Hold for dramatic pause. Hit us up in the comments, folks. We'd love to hear your feedback. Nonetheless, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We love interacting with you guys there. Until then, Caesar, you got anything else you want to add?
Now, what about you, brother?
Stay safe, drink well, don't drink at a college game. All aboard! We'll catch you next time. Hey, everybody. Hope you liked that video.
Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Because, I mean, at $60, it's like you and 2 other homies, $20 each.
Yeah, no, again, you got to find it.